Books you should refer are Nitin Singhania, Indian Art and Culture, and this red book, the Red NCRT, An Introduction to Indian Art, Part 1, Textbook in Fine Arts, Class 11. Okay, and the third thing is an academy or YouTube videos. These three things are sufficient. If there are MCQs which are not covered in this, trust me, most other candidates will fail to solve those MCQs and they won't matter in the competitive exam. If time permits, you can read other stuff like NCRTs, other NCRTs, Tamil Nadu, CCRT, NIOS, etc. But only if you have excess time, and I do not recommend that. Again, search all the important terms on Google and make a separate folder for the important images, like a folder for painting forms, music forms, dance forms, architecture, temples, etc. That way, art and culture will become very interesting for you. Let me show you how. This is the book, Nitin Singhania book. Okay, you can buy it from the market. And these are the important chapters. It's a very bulky book and becomes very difficult for revision at times. So what you do is you at least read these chapters, especially the ones that I have highlighted, and the other ones if you have time. Okay. Now these are some of my important notes. You can supplement these books or your notes with such kind of notes. You may use this study technique if it suits you. Let me zoom it. Now see, I have mentioned the important points in short: Nagar style, Dravid style, Vesar style of temples, the various schools, temple schools, and their important points. These have been mentioned here. So it made revision really easy for me. Now there are questions on important temples and their locations, or the dynasties or the religious affiliations. So I had made a list. I cannot upload all my notes, but this is just an example. You can use this technique and paste all the important information in that chapter itself, so that in the end it becomes easier for revision. Again, these are some important notes. Do not focus on my notes, focus on the techniques, my study style. That has helped me in cracking this examination in a shorter period of time. So if you find it useful, adapt these techniques. It is only if you adapt and improvise that you are going to succeed in this examination. If you just study hard, you'll just survive. But if you wish to succeed, then you have to have something different. You have to read the same stuff in a different way. I had read some other books as well. I would not recommend you those books because they are not very cost effective. But these are the important points I had found in those books or those sources. This is regarding puppetry and theatre forms from CCRT. If you have not found it anywhere else, you can just take a screenshot and remember these points. They may be potential MCQs. Make use of maps in art and culture also, so that you can remember the localization very easily, the particular region from which a particular art form originates, that can be remembered using maps. Let me just zoom it for you. There may be a few mistakes, please ignore them or please correct it. So this is a map which shows the various Indian paintings and where they are located. This is a map which shows the various folk dances of India and their location. So if there is an MCQ regarding the location of a particular dance, then it becomes easier for you to remember. The second important source for art and culture is this red book. the red NCRT. As you can see here, this is the book, get it from the market. There are many important points in this book. Supplement Nitin Singhania with this book. It can be useful for both prelims and mains. However, if you have less time, it may be skipped. But do not forget to read the terms given on the last few pages, the glossary. They are quite important. Now, many candidates find reading this book very difficult. Okay, I've seen my friends struggle with this book and with art and culture overall. So, what I've done is I have pasted a few important notes from this book in this presentation. I don't know whether you will be able to see them clearly. Just let me show them. Now, see, I had made revision notes and pasted them at the start of each topic. So let me just zoom it. So if you find this useful, you can just take a screenshot, read it and see whatever is useful for you. This is chapter 1. This is chapter 2, Arts of the Indus Valley. Some important points which may not be given anywhere else. This is chapter 2 again. The Indus Valley civilization people were fashion conscious and the points given in favor. I remember there were certain questions in the practice tests, not in the main prelims, but they were from these points. So I think these can be potential MCQs in the future. So just have a look and remember the important points. This map I found really very interesting, and there are lots of names, but just try to remember the important ones, like the areas with engravings. So there can be a straightforward question on this. This is chapter 3, Arts of Mauryan period. I hope it is clear. What I'll do is I'll post all my notes and send you a link. Okay, so that might help the future aspirants. But right now I'm really hard pressed for time, so I could just click pictures and make this presentation. This is chapter 4 in the book. Remember, these points are important both for prelims and mains. You can enrich your answer in mains with the help of these points. Okay. The next page. I'm spending more time on this because a lot of students find it difficult to read this book. They do not find time. So I have these notes and I think they can be useful for you. So you can just take screenshots and read it as per your convenience. If it is not clear, then just mention it to me. I'll post it on a separate link, all these pictures. This is chapter 5. So this can be important from the point of view of your mains. Essay on Vijayanagar paintings, mural traditions of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, the important pictures that have been given in this chapter. So this can be an MCQ. This can appear in the form of an MCQ. Then the important features of Badami cave paintings. So such small things are given in this book, but they can be important questions. And again here, the temple architecture in the hills. So this can be a question. Questions on Konark Sun Temple, the Dravid style. Now, as I said, I used to make a folder of every art form, and it made reading art and culture really interesting. So this is my folder which shows the various dance forms of India. For example, the Cherav dance is mentioned over here. Then other dance forms like the Rof dance of Kerala, of Jammu and Kashmir, I'm sorry, the Oppanna of Kerala, etc. Then this folder has all the architectural forms, important architectural forms. Let me show you, this is in detail. Okay, the individual pictures, for example, just Google it and take a screenshot and save it at the end of the day. Okay, so you'll remember it better if there's a question regarding say for example, match the following, and there's this Rof and Kashmir on the other side, then you can match it easily, right? You can draw this in the mains if such a question arises. Or I remember there was a question in previous years regarding this Arjuna's penance at Mamallapuram. So art and culture will no longer be a dreaded subject. You can revise your images whenever you are bored or traveling, or you can ask it to your friends and ask them to tell more in detail about these images or these topics. So for example, this is the Manjusha painting of Bihar. So it becomes very easy to remember. See, there are three colors are used, then the kind of figures in the form of X, right? Human figures in the form of X, and use of snake, the Bihula Bishari folklore. Borders are important here. It is called Angikat and stuff like that. So it becomes easier to remember. So whenever anyone talks about Manjusha painting, this image flashes in front of your eyes, and you can easily recollect the important points. Now the other important